When she brought her son back to her country, she didn't expect that her son would get lost within minutes. But the little boy wasn't afraid at all. Instead, he ran forward and hugged a strange man calling him Dad. Seeing that Kayla wouldn't let go, the assistant quickly pulled him away, but the chairman wasn't angry at all. He even asked the little boy where his mother was and how he got lost. Seeing that the board meeting was about to start, the chairman decided to let the assistant stay to help the boy find his mother, and he would go back to the company first. But the little boy didn't agree. He said he wouldn't leave his dad. The chairman was helpless and could only agree with the little boy, taking him back to the company first. He saw that the boy brought a phone. He told the assistant to call the boy's mother and tell her to pick up her son at Dongsheng Group later. After hanging up, Zhongling realized that it was her ex-boyfriend's company. She couldn't help but feel scared. But because her son wasn't paying attention to her and ran to the company, she rushed into the room, hugged Kayla tightly and said, "Mommy won't let you get lost again." When she turned around, Zhongling realized that he was her ex-boyfriend, Dong Lai, the man she had tried to forget countless times. Later, he told the assistant to take Kayla out, and then told her about his pain over the past 6 years. It turned out that 6 years ago, they were a loving couple, but they encountered a snowstorm while traveling in the mountains. At that time, to protect Zhongling, Dong Lai was hit by a large rock, causing him to fall into a coma and face the risk of having his leg amputated. And currently, the only person who could save him was the director of this hospital, Xia A11. Using the identity of the director's daughter as a condition with Zhongling to be able to save the man she loved, Zhongling did as Xia A11 said. She even pretended to be kind and discourage Zhongling, but Zhongling knew that she couldn't tell him everything. She would bear the pain alone. She didn't expect that Dong Lai never gave up. He was even more furious that she left without a word. Because he didn't know the truth, in his eyes, Zhongling was a woman who was obsessed with fame, who was the father of the child. But she just wanted to push him away, not realizing that she made him even more angry. 6 years ago, he loved her with all his heart. 6 years later, he was filled with resentment towards her, just because when he needed her the most, she chose to leave. But no, she didn't expect that her choice was out of necessity. Because if she chose to stay, Xiaoqi 11 wouldn't let her father, the director, save him, so she could only choose to endure the pain and give up their love. But she never planned to tell Dong Lai everything, leading him to believe she left because she looked down on him for his disability. So, he took her son and forced Zhongling to undress in public, trying to satisfy his fragile ego. Just then, his assistant ran in, saying the boy had fainted. When everyone rushed the child to the hospital, they learned from Zhongling that he had congenital diabetes. The shock almost made Zhongling faint. Dong Lai's eyes showed concern. He was about to apologize to Zhongling when his mother and Xia 11 arrived. His mother slapped Zhongling, taunting her and calling the boy a bastard. Zhongling couldn't hold back her emotions any longer. Then, a man intervened. Dong Lai's mother introduced him as the famous actor Chu Mo, and sarcastically added, "That bastard is their child." But Zhongling and Chu Mo ignored them. After speaking with the doctor, they were about to leave when Dong Lai stopped them. He's the boy's father. So how could it not involve him? Then, they went to Kilei's hospital room. The nurse had to give little Kayla an insulin shot, but seeing his arm covered in needle marks, she hesitated. Chu Mo, noticing Zhongling's distress, said, "Inject it into his stomach." Kayla is very brave. Kayla optimistically told his mother it didn't hurt. Seeing the child's resilience, they were both deeply moved. Afterward, Chu Mo had to leave and Zhongling followed him out. He reassured her that everything would be all right and offered to help adapt her comic book into a movie so she wouldn't have to worry about money. But neither of them expected to be followed by paparazzi, who captured photos of them together looking intimate. She went to the film company to discuss the adaptation, only to unexpectedly run into her manipulative ex-boyfriend. It turned out he had bought the company just to keep her close. Zhongling had no intention of going back. She wanted nothing more to do with the Han family. She angrily slapped him and turned to leave, but Dong Lai pulled her back, demanding to know, "Kayle, whose son is he really?" Zhongling calmly replied, "It's none of your business." He threatened, "I can ruin Chu Mo, and your son too." This threat broke down Zhongling's resistance, and tears streamed down her face. Dong Lai, looking at the woman he once deeply loved, decided not to do anything more. He simply said, "Get out." Zhongling ran out, unable to believe how fate had twisted to bring them back together. But for her, the most important thing was her son, Kayle. She couldn't bear to think about anything else. Later, Zhongling met Chu Mo. After getting into his car, she learned that paparazzi had photographed them at the hospital. The hospital was now swarming with reporters, so he had come to pick her up. When they arrived at Zhang Ling's apartment, Xu Mo was surprised by how small and simple it was. He offered to move her somewhere else, but Zhang Ling replied, "Weren't you living in a place like this a few years ago?" It turned out they had met on a snowy day. Zhang Ling saw some thugs beating up a young man and intervened. She told them she had called the police, scaring them off. But then she collapsed, exhausted and fainted. At the hospital, she discovered she was pregnant. The famous actor being photographed with Zhang Ling had become top trending news, causing his company's stock to plummet. Xu Mo planned a press conference, not to clear his name, but to minimize the damage to Zhang Ling by going public with their connection. As he was about to speak, Dong Lai appeared and stopped him. He announced that their company wouldn't withdraw their investment in Xu Mo and would, in fact, invest further, turning the scandal into positive publicity. Dong Lai claimed their relationship was purely business. He warned that any further rumors would be met with legal action. Zhang Ling rushed out to thank Dong Lai, but he coldly replied that he was only acting in his own interest and she shouldn't read into it. Seeing the look in Xu Mo's eyes, Dong Lai then asked Zhang Ling to push his wheelchair, a deliberate move to show Xu Mo his place. Xu Mo, indignant, called out to Zhang Ling, but his manager stopped him, warning him not to make things worse. Meanwhile, Xiao Lem went to Kaylei's hospital room, determined to find out who the boy's father was. But Kayle refused to cooperate, even calling her an ugly aunt. This infuriated Xia 11. Just then, Zhang Ling returned. Seeing Xia 11, she became wary. She sent Kayle out to play with another child. Once he was gone, Xia 11 started taunting Zhang Ling, asking if Dong Lai had arranged for her upscale hospital room. When Zhang Ling ignored her, Xia 11 picked up a photo from the table and warned, "Don't even think about getting involved with Dong Lai again, or your son will suffer." But Xia 11 shouldn't have provoked a mother's protective instincts. Suddenly, she found a shard of glass pressed against her neck. Zhang Ling demanded to know if Xia 11 was behind the events of 6 years ago. Terrified, Xia 11 confessed. She had lured Zhang Ling to the mountain and arranged for someone to push rocks down, intending to kill her. She hadn't expected Dong Lai to risk his own life to save Zhang Ling. Hearing the truth, Zhang Ling dropped the glass shard. All she wanted now was a normal life with her son. She let Xia 11 go. But Xia 11 wouldn't learn her lesson. She contacted the thug who had done her dirty work before. This time, however, he wanted more than just money. "If it weren't for your looks and body, do you think your measly payments would have kept me doing your bidding for so many years?" He threatened, relenting only when she said she is the Lin family's daughter. He then went to Zhang Ling's landlords, threatening them to evict her that very day. The terrified couple complied, demanding Zhang Ling and Kayle leave. Zhang Ling tried to reason with them, but they wouldn't listen. The husband even tried to lay hands on them, threatening to burn their belongings if they didn't get out. Seeing him pull out a lighter, Zhang Ling grabbed it. He lunged at her, but was stopped by a tall, imposing man, Dong Lai's bodyguard. They thought he would back down, but he continued to advance, gathering kindling, only to be apprehended again by the bodyguard. "You might want to keep that filthy mouth shut." The landlady tried to call for help, but their neighbors, frightened by the scene, quickly retreated. Just as Dong Lai was about to intervene, Zhang Ling stopped him. They gathered their things and left. The landlord, still fuming, started after them, but his wife held him back, reminding him they had the money and didn't need any more trouble. Dong Lai overheard this, his glare sending them scurrying back inside. He ordered his bodyguard to investigate the matter thoroughly. The bodyguard took Kayle to the car first, leaving Dong Lai and Zhang Ling alone. She asked him how he knew where she was. Dong Lai replied, "If I want to know something, I'll find out." His answer unsettled Zhang Ling. It felt like being watched. Still, she thanked him. He responded, "Don't thank me. I'm just covering for Xu Mo since he couldn't be here to take care of his son." Zhang Ling told him he had it wrong. Xu Mo wasn't Kayleigh's father, but when Dong Lai asked who the father was, she remained silent. This infuriated him, but Zhang Ling firmly stated, "It's none of your business." Dong Lai told her to stop lying to herself and face reality. He confessed he still loved her deeply. He needed to know who Kayleigh's father was, but she refused to tell him. Her repeated insistence that it was none of his business pushed him away. However, he hadn't counted on Kayle becoming their unwitting matchmaker. With their son persistently pleading, Zhang Ling agreed to go home with Dong Lai. They hadn't anticipated Kayleigh's next request. I want to sleep with you and Uncle Dong Lai tonight, though she initially refused. But to soothe Kayla to sleep, Zhang Ling ended up sharing a bed with Dong Lai. She told herself it was for her son, but her mind raced with conflicting thoughts. Unable to bear it any longer, she left the room. Dong Lai, on the other side of the bed, was also wide awake. Early in the morning, Zhang Ling dreamt Dong Lai was waking her up. She opened her eyes to find Kayla instead. He needed to use the restroom, but Uncle Dong Lai had been in there for a long time and wouldn't come out. Zhang Ling took Kayla to the door and knocked, but there was no answer. Worried, she rushed inside to find Dong Lai unconscious with a high fever. In that moment, her feelings for him resurfaced. All she wanted was for him to get better. When his bodyguard arrived, Zhang Ling learned that Dong Lai frequently suffered from fevers, a lingering effect of the accident 6 years ago. Guilt washed over her, and she decided to take care of him herself. After the bodyguard took Kayla away, Zhang Ling tended to Dong Lai. She heard him murmuring her name, and as she leaned closer, he suddenly woke up. Zhang Ling quickly tried to distance herself, but he pulled her close. This time, he wasn't letting her go. He only managed to utter a few words before Sha 11, furious with him for something he had said. The bodyguard had tipped off Sha 11 about Zhang Ling. Sha 11, as a spoiled daughter, provoked Zhang Ling, who promptly dumped a basket of vegetables on her to cool her down. Unremorseful, Sha 11 sneered at Zhang Ling, calling her low class while acting superior herself. She claimed she didn't want Dong Lai back, yet refused to leave. Zhang Ling refused to back down. Seeing that she couldn't get through to Xia 11, Zhang Ling finally gave up and left. Back in the apartment, Zhang Ling felt uneasy. She knew there was an insurmountable wall between them, so she coldly told Dong Lai, "Go home. I'll pay the rent for this place." Dong Lai, speechless, looked at her. He respected her wishes, but deep down, he didn't want to let her go. Meanwhile, Shai 11 and Dong Lai's mother appeared before a group of reporters Shai 11 had called, announcing their engagement. Dong Lai's mother played along, hoping to pressure Dong Lai with public opinion. But Dong Lai had other plans. He arrived at the engagement party with the woman he had already chosen, Zhang Ling, and arrogantly asked to meet his ex-fiancée. The scene caused a stir among the guests. Reporters, sensing a scandal, swarmed them, only to be driven back by bodyguards. Shai 11's parents arrived, furious. Dong Lai's mother started to explain. "It's just a misunderstanding," but Dong Lai cut her off. "I never agreed to marry Xia Evan in the first place, so there's nothing to call off." Xia 11 stormed off, but her parents weren't letting it go. They confronted Zhang Ling, telling her to have some self-respect. Zhang Ling ignored them and walked away. As she left, she saw Xia 11 talking to a man. He looked familiar, like someone she had met before. Suddenly, it hit her. He was the man who had held her captive on the mountain 6 years ago. Frightened, Zhang Ling called Chu Mo and asked him to investigate. Shai 11 took the man to her family's club, venting her frustrations and insulting him. He tried to ignore her, but this only fueled her arrogance. She underestimated him. He snapped, grabbing her by the throat and threatening to drag her out if he ever saw her there again, leaving Xia 11 trembling with fear. But he ignored her and walked out. However, he didn't realize Chu Mo had been watching them the entire time. Chu Mo was then brutally attacked by a thug and thrown to the ground countless times, simply for showing interest in the boss's woman. Seeing that Dong Lai wasn't being aggressive, the director urged him on again. This infuriated actress Man Li, who yelled that they were unprofessional and abusing their power. Dong Lai put on his sunglasses, tuned her out, and said he wanted to see more, telling them to continue. The director, receiving the order, had no choice but to comply. Thankfully, script consultant Zhang Ling returned. After hearing the actress's complaints, she rushed to Chu Mo's side. Seeing his injuries, Zhang Ling was furious. Dong Lai, no longer wanting to pressure the film crew, called for a 3-day break. Noticing Zhang Ling leaving, Dong Lai followed. He said he wanted to discuss the script with her, but Zhang Ling retorted, "You're not worthy. You think you can just mess with the script because you're the investor and bully the actors?" After leaving Dong Lai, Zhang Ling met Chu Mo at a restaurant, asking about his injuries. Chu Mo brushed it off, saying, "Just a scratch, nothing serious." Then, curious, he asked about her relationship with Dong Lai. That's when he learned Dong Lai was Kaylee's father. Chu Mo said, "Were you planning to keep this from him forever? You can't hide this kind of thing for a lifetime." But Zhang Ling insisted, I don't want him to know. Once Kayla recovers, we're leaving. Chumo then shared the results of his investigation into the man in black. He was shocked that the Lin family's daughter would be involved with such a thug. They didn't realize Xia 11 was eavesdropping, having just wheeled Dong Lai in. Seeing their closeness, Dong Lai became enraged and had Xia 11 push him closer so he could hear their conversation. Chumo was disgusted by Xia 11's spiteful remarks about them. But when they started discussing marriage, Zhang Ling felt a pang of discomfort and excused herself, saying she was full. As she tried to leave, Dong Lai stopped her, asking if she cared about him getting married. Zhang Ling replied, "It's none of my business," pushing his hand away and coldly adding, "We're just strangers. Even if my stuff is broken, it's not for others to use." This comment infuriated Chumo. He declared that Zhang Ling was someone he treasured, not someone a jerk like Dong Lai could trample on. Xia 11 jumped into the argument, reminding Chumo to know his place. Chumo retorted, "Physically, I wouldn't compare myself to a cripple." To everyone's astonishment, Dong Lai stood up. Even Chumo was taken aback. Dong Lai should be thanking Chumo. His son accepted candy from a strange woman and immediately fainted. The mother shouted, but the boy wouldn't wake up. That's when she found out that her son had diabetes, but it's too late to say anything now. She rushed her son to the hospital. At the hospital, Dong Lai's mother berated him for hiding the child's illness from her. This made Dong Lai realize something odd. His usually cold mother seemed to care. She claimed it was because the child was cute, but she suspected Lo was Dong Lai's son. She abruptly left for the hospital's testing department. After giving the hair samples to the doctor, she turned to leave. As she stepped out, she ran into Xia C11, who asked why she was at the hospital. Thinking quickly, Dong Lai's mother said she was visiting an old friend, but Xia 11 remained suspicious about Kayla. The next day, Xia 11 went to the head of the testing department to get Mrs. Han's test results. Director Zhang, intimidated by her being the director's daughter, handed them over. Xia 11 rushed to the stairwell to read them alone. Furious at the truth, she called Dong Lai's mother and gave her a falsified report she had prepared. The next morning, Dong Lai was summoned by his mother, who showed him the fake report, warning him not to raise another man's child. He calmly replied, "It doesn't matter," and quickly left. After work at the film set, a colleague invited Zhang Ling to dinner, but Dong Lai intercepted them. He said he needed to discuss the script with her. Back at her apartment, the script discussion turned into Dong Lai demanding to know who Kaylee's father was. Zhang Ling avoided answering, prompting Dong Lai to pour out his feelings. Despite his heartfelt plea, Zhang Ling simply said, "You have no right to ask." The director offered her a drugged juice. He then started making unwanted advances. Realizing his intentions, Zhang Ling tried to leave, but felt dizzy and weak. The director dropped his pretense, revealing a predatory expression, and moved to assault her. When she resisted, he slapped her. Warning: if you don't cooperate, it won't just be a slap. But Zhang Ling refused to be a victim. Mustering her remaining strength, she grabbed a vase and knocked him out. At that moment, Chumo arrived at the director's door, intending to discuss the script. Zhang Ling's hope flickered, but as she tried to scream, a hand covered her mouth. As Chumo turned to leave, Zhang Ling, desperate, knocked over a wine bottle. She screamed for help. Hearing her, Chumo kicked the door open. Enraged by the scene, he unleashed his fury on the director, turning him into a punching bag. But he knew getting Zhang Ling to the hospital was more important. As Chumo settled Zhang Ling at the hospital, he received news that Dong Lai had arrived. Grabbing him by the collar, Chumo demanded to know if he was involved. Dong Lai insisted, "I would never hurt Zhang Ling." Chumo scoffed, "Haven't you hurt her enough already?" This gave Dong Lai pause. Chumo continued to rage, "If you can't protect her, stay away from her." Dong Lai countered, "And can a famous star like you give her a normal life?" Both men fell silent. Chumo finally broke the silence, saying, "Neither of us is good enough for her." After he left, Dong Lai finally dropped his arrogance. He took Zhang Ling's hand, comforting her. But after a moment of reflection, he left. Meanwhile, Xia 11 was drinking alone. Distraught that her plan to humiliate Zhang Ling had failed, the thug arrived, demanding money. "Someone knows about what happened 6 years ago. If you don't want to be exposed, pay up." Xia 11 assumed he meant a few million and agreed. He then demanded 30 billion, promising to leave the country and never return. Xia 11 refused, insulting him. She would regret that decision. Disregarding the company's interests, Dong Lai exposed the director, infuriating the shareholders who wanted to cover it up and minimize losses. Dong Lai coldly stated, "I disagree. Anyone who wants to protect that scumbag can go to hell." His abrupt departure left everyone bewildered. Outside, still fuming, Dong Lai vowed to blacklist the director completely. Just as Zhang Ling left the hospital, they went to a cafe. Zhang Ling thanked Dong Lai, who apologized for not protecting her. She then asked if he had forgiven her for what happened 6 years ago. Of course not. As Zhang Ling started to reply, Chu Mo called. Dong Lai also received a call from his assistant. After the call, Zhang Ling was about to tell Dong Lai the truth about 6 years ago, but he said, "I know everything." He took her to a meeting room. Chu Mo and the assistant had both uncovered the truth. They combined their evidence, revealing what had truly happened. Chu Mo had even found a recording from the scene. The thug with red hair had also contacted the assistant, offering to testify. Dong Lai wanted to go to the police, but Zhang Ling wanted to confront Xia 11. Coincidentally, Dong Lai's mother called, asking him to take Xia 11 to dinner. Knowing where Xia 11 would be, they went to expose her lies. Seeing the situation turn against her, Xia 11 clung to Dong Lai's mother, claiming she knew she was wrong. "Xia 11, I understand. Just apologize to Zhang Ling." This infuriated Zhang Ling. "You weren't the one assaulted." Dong Lai, shocked by his mother's words, realized she had been manipulated. So Xia 11 is still trying to frame Zhang Ling? Zhang Ling played the recording. Xia 11 panicked, claiming it was fabricated. Zhang Ling calmly produced a photo of the red-haired thug. Xia 11, still delusional, snatched and tore the photo. Zhang Ling revealed the thug's confession. Warning, if you don't confess, the consequences will be much worse. Xia 11 crumbled, clinging to Dong Lai's mother and denying everything. But Mrs. Han's trust was gone. Xia 11 insisted she hadn't harmed Zhang Ling. Dong Lai, tell her the truth. The police can easily verify it all. As Zhang Ling continued to expose her lies and with everyone's trust shattered, Xia 11 broke down completely. She grabbed a fruit knife and lunged at Zhang Ling. Dong Lai shielded Zhang Ling and was stabbed. Everyone froze, staring at the dripping blood. At the hospital, they anxiously awaited news. Finally, the doctor announced the surgery was successful. Seeing Dong Lai's mother distraught, Zhang Ling offered to take care of him, urging her to go home and rest. Mrs. Han, touched by the kindness of the woman she had misjudged, apologized for her earlier behavior. Zhang Ling graciously replied, "It's okay, we both care about Dong Lai." The assistant took Mrs. Han home. On the way, they ran into the head of the testing department, who shared the good news about the DNA test. Mrs. Han realized Kei was indeed her grandson. Overjoyed, she rushed to the kindergarten to pick him up. But Kayla said he didn't know her, calling her a witch. A few days earlier, believing Xia 11's lies, Mrs. Han had cruelly told Kayla he wasn't her grandson. She also felt delighted as she left, relieved to not have such a mediocre grandchild. Now, she was filled with regret. The next day, using her son's discharge as an excuse, she visited their home, bringing Kayla his favorite toys. Kayla threw them back at her. Zhang Ling scolded him for being disrespectful to his elders. But Kayla protested. "She's a mean old lady. She said I'm a bastard with no father." This put Dong Lai in an awkward position. His mother apologized, saying she was confused, but Kayla refused to forgive her. Dong Lai noticed his mother's unusual behavior and ushered her out. Back home, she confessed to Dong Lai, revealing how Xia 11 had tricked them. Kayla was his son. Dong Lai was stunned. He couldn't believe Zhang Ling had lied to him for so long. Zhang Ling went to meet Dong Lai, but he ignored her calls and stood her up. He couldn't forgive her repeated deception. Zhang Ling waited from noon till night, but he never came. Dong Lai finally returned home after midnight. She asked why he hadn't shown up. He coldly claimed he had forgotten. As she pressed him, he finally exploded. Seeing his anger, Zhang Ling realized he knew the truth. She explained that she had intended to tell him everything. She had been afraid he would take Kaylai away. Dong Lai retorted, "Now you're setting boundaries? I can't tell which of your words are true anymore." He pushed her away. "Did you ever think about how I feel, being lied to for 6 years?" He turned to leave. Zhang Ling tried to stop him, but his heart was closed off. After so many obstacles, they had finally found their way back to each other, but her deception had shattered his trust. He still longed for her, unable to forget her. Zhang Ling felt the same way. Unable to find the necklace Dong Lai had given her, She frantically searched her apartment. Kayla, worried about his mother, called Chu Mo. Zhongling finally calmed down when he arrived. But once Kayla was asleep, she broke down, confessing her foolish mistake to Chu Mo. He offered to help her search, but they couldn't find it. Zhongling finally gave up, saying it didn't matter anymore. It was all in the past. Chu Mo asked and discovered Zhongling was leaving the city that day. He wanted to dissuade her, but seeing her determination, he didn't. Just then, he found her necklace on the sofa. Seeing her eyes light up when he returned it, he understood. As Zhongling packed, he took the necklace to Dong Lai. Seeing his hesitation, Chu Mo spoke for him, explaining Zhongling's fears. We were both orphans. That's why she's so afraid of losing Kayla. He told Dong Lai Zhongling's flight time, hoping he would finally confront his feelings. After Chu Mo left, Dong Lai stared at the necklace, lost in thought. Meanwhile, Zhongling and Kayla took a taxi to the airport. On the plane, they were looking for their seats. She thought her connection with Dong Lai was over. Then, a hand reached out to help with her bag. She turned to see the man she longed for. As they talked, Kayla heard a familiar voice and turned to see his beloved uncle. Dong Lai said, "Don't call me uncle anymore. Call me dad." He took out the necklace, telling Zhongling, "I won't lose you again." Months later, Chu Mo finished filming his movie. Man Li asked about his plans. He said he would take a break and invited her to join him, their relationship taking a step forward. Dong Lai, Zhongling, and Kayla attended the film's wrap party. Dong Lai called Zhongling aside, then knelt down and presented a ring. Zhongling, "I've waited 6 years for this." Seeing the sparkling ring, reflecting Dong Lai's sincerity, Zhongling tearfully accepted, writing a perfect ending to their 6-year separation. This is where the story ends. Don't forget to like and subscribe to not miss out on more amazing episodes. For now, goodbye, and until next time.